Wait a minute. Does that mean Solstice is this month? It can't be bad, right?
Oh, hey there, YouTube. Welcome back to another installment of spending my entire bank account on Eververse. Another $15 down the drain. Ching, there goes $10. One on their keyboard. They picked something. Alright, we have one more.
Because there is little to no loot tied, because events are quote-unquote free to all players, there is zero monetary incentive for Bungie to spend time on anything more than creating the most attractive Destiny shopping mall for 3 weeks. I would love for Bungie to prove me wrong on this one, because I like the idea of events. They're supposed to be fun, but there's nothing fun to do during those 3 weeks unless you like spending.
That same event is coming out in the next couple weeks. I gotta say this honestly, Bungie does not put any more care into events than they used to. The only care they put in it is if they can profit off that said event. The last couple of events we've gotten has only been changed, tweaked a tiny bit because they've added ways to add more microtransactions and more things to make them more profit, like the event card and its own event battle pass that you need to pay for to get rewards. Back in the day, when Bungie truly cared about events, there was no, oh, we're gonna blab so much microtransactions at you, and we're just gonna make the entire event focused on that. There was actually days back in vanilla Destiny 2, where Bungie would implement reprise missions from the Red War, Crusaders, Warmind, and they actually made those missions fun. They tweaked it a lot. They made all these modifiers, they made unique bosses, and it was so awesome to play vanilla D1 Moments of Triumph and Solstice. At that time, expansions would launch in September, so you would know that Moments of Triumph would be in that very end of the year, so it would be with Solstice. Now, with expansions being in February, we don't get Moments of Triumph anymore until that December season. So with Moments of Triumph all the way peaked out later on, we only have Solstice. And what does Solstice have to offer? Only the European Aerial Zone, which is a seasonal activity we've been having for the last couple of years. For like 5 years, there has been nothing new with the seasonal activity at all, and has been the same grind, and there has been little tweaks, I will give them that, but the weapons we get, it's just so bad, because people would grind for weapons, or well, just get them in the first 5-10 minutes of the event, and put them in their vault, and never use them again, because people hate the weapons, because they're not good. No one enjoys getting the weapons, no one enjoys getting the armor like they used to, because in the original Solstice, back in the day, you would grind your Solstice armor from the green, to the blue, to the legendary, Verity, and that was really fun to me. I know people say it was sort of repetitive sometimes, but I enjoyed grinding it, because if the armor looked good, and they had all the special things that was added to it, because back in the original Solstice, they made it so you had to play Solstice to get the 400 power level, and with the announcement of Forsaken, many Guardians would join right before Forsaken and play Solstice so they could get the highest possible gear to get ready for Forsaken. They gave them an incentive to play the event, and then they gave them really good armor, and they gave them a grind that was different from any other event, because Solstice is the only event where you upgrade rarity of armor. In today's video, we're going to talk about some problems about Solstice and the solutions on how to fix this event. Right now, we're looking at a next couple weeks until the event launches, and this will be the next content drop until they go heads down silent until the showcase and Season 22 in August. So here, I'm going to discuss how they can fix this event during this bad spot in Destiny, and hopefully, we guys can get our hands on a really good event in the next couple of weeks. One of the issues I have with events, it's always been an issue to me, is adding something new or tweaking something like European Aerial Zone or Bonfire Bash, which is like a tweaked version of the European Aerial Zone originally, and then they tweaked it a bit from its mechanics, and then they tell Guardians during the event card, even if you're going to pay for it, which I'll get started later on, that you have to go and do 50 public events, or 50 strikes, or Crucible, or Gambit, or things that you've already done, and then have only a little bit of those challenges focus on that new thing that you added in that event. I hate it. If an event is ever to be added, they need to focus on making Guardians go into the new activity, give them incentives, and play it. They don't go and make other things that we've already been doing. It makes no sense. Every event does it. Dawning, everything. I hate it. That's one thing I feel like some people can agree with me with, is that you can't have the event focus on you going doing other things that are in bad states. Right now, the core playlist is in bad states right now, like Neomuna. Everyone hates it because it's so empty. If this Solstice asks you to go to Neomuna and do activities, I hands down believe half people are not going to go and do it because of how bad that location of many is and how bad the core's playlist is. It's just no one's going to waste their time, and it's just another repetitive grind that no one likes. If you're going to add something new, and believe me, I don't even think the European Area Zone should be the same thing anymore. It should be channeled to new destinations. This new seasonal activity that they're doing, they need to bring it to destinations that get no love anymore. Europa, Nessus, Throne World, those places get no love anymore. Add the new seasonal activity to those places, change the environment up, and then give them more challenges, more things to do, secrets or something into it. If you're adding all this time into microtransactions, you can add more time into the seasonal event to make it better again. I just feel like Bungie should not keep the same formula with this content, because they're not going to do anything unless adding more microtransactions to the game. And that leads us to the next thing, which is microtransactions. Microtransactions always offer a way for players to customize their Guardians at the expense of their money. You're paying money constantly, like you saw there, Asacrot, Sweat, everyone's paying money because the event is focused on the microtransactions. If you have an event, you can have microtransactions. I'm not saying anything bad about that. However, if the event is only focused on microtransactions, it's just another shopping mall, just like he said. There's literally nothing to be added in the event, and that's complete BS. Then there's no point in having the event go live, because you can just put all those microtransactions into the Eververse store midway through the season, or some way in another type of season, and people would still buy it. There's literally no point. It's just getting players to play the event, and if they don't want to spend their money, they have to look for weeks at the event card and thinking, oh, should I buy it? Should I buy it? Should I buy it? Because it worked. It worked on me. For the Festival of the Lost and the Dawning, I wasn't wanting to buy a $10 event card because I just didn't feel like it. But for weeks, I would come in to play the game or do some of the seasonal story and still look at that, oh, you want to buy it, right? Oh, yeah, you want to buy it. Yeah, sure, let's go and buy it, because why not? You got all these things. And then even then buying it, you can't even use the grind that you got all the rewards in without buying it. So what is the point? Because if you grind the seasonal challenges and you get the whatever, like the currency to get the rewards out of the event pass, you still need to buy it to get those rewards. So what is the point of grinding the seasonal challenges? The incentive is so bad. You have to pay for the incentive, and then even then, you have to use money for the event, and that's it. That is complete BS. The event is being quoted all over the marketing as a free-to-play event, but what is there to actually play for free without spending your money to grind the activity? It's just worthless, it's horrible, and I hate it. I wouldn't make this video out if I didn't enjoy Solstice back in the day, which I did, and over the years I always try to get into Solstice again and again and again, but this time I'm really getting annoyed that there's no changes, there's nothing being added, and it's really annoying me. With the final part of the saga being almost complete now, we are still being stuck in these horrible events that no one puts any time into without putting profit, and it sucks to me really bad. Now, another part I want to really talk about is how we need to structure weapons and rewards. These need to be changed. Every Solstice event usually does one thing good, which I like, is that they bring the old Solstice weapons into that new event. If you forgot or didn't play Solstice in the previous year, then they bring those weapons into that next year. But even then, only one weapon per event. Now, this year, I believe it will be a stasis rocket launcher. Last year was a shotgun, or the year before that, see, I've lost track, and then the year before that was a hand cannon. You get the picture. Only one weapon. I think that's horrible. Now, I don't want to put Bungie in that spot where, oh, they have to put tons of content into events, because events is a huge priority. I know they're not. But they shouldn't just hold on to one weapon to get the whole team, every player, to play the event only for one gun. I think they should put 5 weapons. If they have a whole year to work on these events, 4 weapons. Come on. That should be an accurate amount. If I'm asking too much, then I don't know what is, because that doesn't seem too much to me. They've put all these weapons into every single, destination, and they haven't even tweaked some of the destinations. They put all these weapons into the loophole every new season. They put weapons into the Nightfall, the Strike playlist or whatever, the Crucible playlist. It just makes no sense that they can't focus some time into adding more than one weapon, and even then, not making the weapon garbage. Like, I don't want to be that guy where, weapons from seasons aren't supposed to be good. Well, it makes no sense to me, because what's the purpose of putting the weapon into an event if it's not going to be used in the meta at all? Because I see these videos of all these weapons that come out in events for like a week, and then nobody uses them. They go into the vault, and I understand no one's going to be fulfilled with that Solstice weapon, that event weapon at all. I understand people are going to hate it no matter what, but I need some people to agree with me on this. I feel like they need to have a weapon that actually truly is good in something. If Solstice is having you go and defeat enemies all over the EAZ, which are all Taken or Cabal or Vex, why don't you make a weapon during that rotation of the enemy that does extra damage against that enemy, if I'm making sense? If the Cabal is in the European area zone that week, why don't you drop a weapon or drop perks on a weapon that makes it so it does 50% more damage on Cabal or 50 more damage on Vex, and you make it kind of incredible against a specific race? Then people are going to be like, okay guys, this weapon's amazing, and why don't you go and grind it, because this is going to be Cabal. It will be really easy now if you get the weapon, if you want to go into like Root of Nightmares or Garden, and now you have a really stronger weapon. Think of those type of incentives. Think of those reasons why people go in to play the event. There's no incentive anymore, because what I believe is that armor now, you don't even upgrade the rarity. You just buy it off the Eververse store, because I believe it's ornament. That's it. There's no more grind to the armor anymore. They literally got rid of it. So there's no grind in armor. There's no reason to grind the weapons because it's bad. There's no reason to go in the European area zone because it gets really repetitive, and there's no new changes to it every year. And it's just the same thing. And just more like ever, microtransactions is added. Bungie, I don't really think many people really enjoy this event anymore, and that's why a lot of people are going to start leaving the event. I know the numbers don't lie and people still play this game, but events are in a very bad state. And even looking further beyond, we have Festival of the Lost, we have the Dawning, we have Guardian games again, and everybody hates those, and I can't blame them. I hate them too. What is the point of adding an event to the game if no one's going to play it? The only reason is profit. Microtransactions, that's it. Bungie, please fix this. You're going to make Season 23 focus more on the core activities and the structure of the game right before the final shape. You should focus on the structure of events, because this is a great way to add new players into the game. It's quoted in the marketing, like I said prior, that it's a free-to-play event. Many Guardians will play the event, or new people might join up to play the event, because it's quoted to be free to play and they don't need to waste money. But right now, it's being completely lied to, because the whole thing the event is focusing on is making you pressure into buying more of the event cards so you give them your money. It's more like you have to pay to enjoy it, or like I have to say, pay to even play it. And then you might not enjoy it, but at least you gave Bungie the money. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. So looking at that from all those fronts, that's why Solstice is in such a bad state. The grind sucks, and it really, again, needs to start giving us more of a challenge. The game has been told from many that it's not a challenge anymore. It's not like the same. It's just an easy joke with how much the ability spam is, with how much our Guardian is so powerful. There's no challenges that literally tell us that we're doing really good or showing us that we're actually that potent anymore. We literally go into this event and we try to speedrun how many bonfire bashes, which is throwing after killing an enemy onto that big fireplace in the center, as quick as we can. And that's the only thing for the hardcore players. That's it. There's nothing else. And that's what I hate. They need to add new time challenges. They need to add secrets. Maybe doing this gives you exotics. Maybe really high stat gear if you can do all these collectibles and consumables and actually put lore into it. Imagine if there was lore in the Solstice and these events were told about awesome stories or things that you would read and listen about. I know Bife is great at, talking to us about lore, and I gotta admit that guy's awesome. But how cool would it be if people were telling us lore like Ava? I know people hate Ava. People think Ava as the Witch Queen, but believe me, if Ava told us stories that are actually enjoyable and engaging, it would be interesting. I know it's not a big deal, but I feel like Solstice, should be a part of the Last City's lore. It should be a part of these things, and I know there's some lore about it, but it's not the same. I know back in the day around Beyond Light Season of Hunt, the Dawning had some lore about the Crow, and during that time, people were like invested into it, like, oh my god, that's the Crow, that's Aldrin. Oh my god, we're getting more story about him, more characteristics, and now we're getting nothing. We literally get nothing. We get a weapon with some lore about something that's like a short story and nobody cares, because it's not interesting. And I gotta give it prompts, the Bungie narrative team, they have really good storytelling, the lore team. I just don't know why they don't use that into these events to make them sound interesting. Maybe they can, who knows, time will tell. But that's all I have for today's video. I wanted to break it down and tell you how much I really care for these events because I want them to change, and how much I'm not enjoying them right now in the state because of how much they are just the same as every other year and only adding more to microtransactions. Hopefully you enjoy. Let me know your thoughts in the comments because I would love to hear it. None of that, I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.